Hello, I am Logan Nash. I'm an 18-year-old senior from Detroit. I believe that climate change is a very real issue that must be addressed before it is too late. I care deeply about our planet and wish to see a dramatic change in the way we treat our home.
Hey, I'm John Eads. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. I'm 17. Thanks for watching this video today. Climate change is a pressing issue that may not affect my generation, but will affect the next generation, in which my kin will be immersed on this earth. For that reason, I would like to flip the script on this problem affecting the earth before the effects become irreversible.
Hey, I'm John. I'm 18 and from Detroit, Michigan, and I'm upset. The fact that people continue to allow others and themselves to pollute this earth is unacceptable. I believe that the core problem of this issue is both ignorance and denial. If we can spread the word about this dilemma and really bring attention to our movement, we can enact change.
Our goal is to inform leaders and others in power, but mainly the upcoming generation, that we need to learn to reduce our dependence on fossil fuels and start using clean energy instead in order to save our planet from overheating.
Now, what exactly is climate change?
Climate change is the constant rise in global temperatures due to the burning of fossil fuels and emissions of carbonated substances into the atmosphere, which causes a lot of problems. According to the NRDC, National Resource Defense Council, these problems include rising temperatures, melting glaciers, damage to natural ecosystems, disruption of wildlife habitats, and bodily effects.
Global warming occurs when carbon dioxide and other air pollutants and greenhouse gases collect in the atmosphere and absorb sunlight and solar radiation that have bounced off the Earth's surface. Normally, this radiation would escape into space, but these pollutants, which can last for years, centuries in the atmosphere, trap the heat and cause the planet to get hotter. That's what's known as the greenhouse gas effect.
Many consequences, such as rising temperatures. Since 1880, the average global temperature on Earth has increased by 0.8 degrees Celsius. Melting glaciers. The ocean water levels rising causes flooding. Forests, farms, and cities will face troublesome new pests. Heat waves, heavy downpours, and increased flooding. All those factors will damage or destroy agriculture and fisheries. There is disruption of habitats such as coral reefs and alpine meadows. This could drive many plant and animal species to extinction. Allergies, asthma, and infectious disease outbreaks will become more and more common due to increased growth of pollen-producing ragweed, higher levels of air pollution, and the spread of conditions that are favorable to pathogens and mosquitoes. If this continues, by the end of the 21st century, carbon dioxide percentages will cause an increase of temperatures from anywhere from 1.5 to 4.5 degrees Celsius.
How is this happening, and what is the science behind it?
In the early 1980s, numerous scientists met to discuss greenhouse gases and increased emissions. This is known as the Conference of Scientists, sponsored by the UNEP, WMO, and ICSU. They came to the conclusion that the first half of the next century will see an overall warming of the climate due to the increased levels of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases in the atmosphere.
Climate change is a real issue. It has already been determined by the scientific community as a real, deadly threat to society and Earth alike. Any opposed are either ignorant to the true scientific facts or purposely rejecting the subject due to corrupt motivations of power and money. World leaders have continually failed to take the necessary steps to combat and address these issues. Leaders focus on less severe topics and shut out the greater problem.
The world global emission of carbon dioxide from fossil fuel combustion and other industrial processes in 2014. China makes up 30%. The United States is second with 15%. The European Union is 9%. India is 7%. The Russian Federation is 5%. Japan is 4%. And all others make up 30%.
According to this graph, labeled Global Greenhouse Gas Emissions by Economic Sector, the biggest culprit of emissions is electricity and heat production at 25%, agriculture, forestry, and other land uses at 24%, industry third at 21%, transportation fourth at 14%, other uses of energy at fifth at 10%, and buildings and their uses rounding it out at sixth with 6%. There is no one solution to this problem. There is a multifarious number of steps that need to be taken. What Cornell professor Andre Schatz believes is the first step to reducing emissions is mandatory disclosure. This means that energy companies must now disclose emission information to the public. This allows investors, customers, government officials, and regulators to form complete and informed opinions, allowing conscientious decisions. These reports would expose corporate strategies and their liabilities to climate change, as well as give an economic incentive for companies to reduce GHG in order to keep a positive public image. This is not the solution, but merely a first step in the direction of change. While creation of GHG releases inventory, it should be a first step towards global climate change regulation, and it is not the solution and should serve as a complementary tool to market-based policies, says Andre Schatz.
We do not need to make drastic changes tomorrow, but we do need to make the small steps as we go into the future. This includes making the correct votes on political leaders and policy.
On behalf of me, Logan, and John, I'd like to thank you for watching this video today, giving us a chance to really tell you what the problem is and give you some information on a problem that is really going to affect our next generation and could affect us now and in years to come. So really spread the word on this issue, and we can really enact some change.
And remember to reduce, reuse, recycle, and go green.